Mitchell, earlier today I was informed that my name was in my home city's paper for the obituaries with no age or anything next to it. And I'm actually going on my honeymoon in a couple of days. And DJ has been telling me for weeks now that I'm not going to survive my honeymoon. Is this something that I should be alarmed about? Should I not go on my honeymoon?
I think you should 100% go on your honeymoon. I'd be more worried about if DJ is going to be the reason why you don't make it to your honeymoon. And as long as he's sitting there with the surrender cobra, I'm pretty sure DJ's one spitting cobra that I don't want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I put that hex on him. I'm just putting out applications the last week for a new podcast partner because I've been planning his death this entire time.
Well, if you're looking for a below-average looking white guy, I'm probably not the guy to pick.
Oh! Let's get loaded. Oh, nice. All three. Welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last.
Ooh, we are looking forward to this one. It's your hosts, Ben Morgan and DJ Primo. And as you obviously heard in the intro, that's Mitchell Renz of Chat Sports. Mitchell, great The return. Great to have you back.
Good to be back. It's been way too long, and I'm excited to finally get back on the show. I feel like every time we do this, I got some sort of complications going on. I feel like, DJ's pregnancy scares, and finally happy to be here. So it's been way overdue. A little sick, though, so hopefully that doesn't come out and show too much.
I wonder what that could be from. So you once upon a time told me to never let my guest let himself talk about himself or where you can find his work until the end of the episode. But you've been on our podcast more than like any other guest times like 3. Everyone knows you. I'm going to break your own rule. Tell everyone that's listening, maybe for the first time, where they can find your work, where they can find your Twitter handle, all that good jazz.
Awesome. Yeah, I work for a company called Chat Sports. We're like ESPN on Facebook. You guys can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at Chat Sports, ChatSports. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, heck, go ahead and Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365. It's all the exact same for me. I would definitely appreciate it.
Honestly, if any of our listeners can't spell Chat Sports, I don't want them to listen anymore.
You'd be surprised how many people think that it's Chad, as in CHAD, and then they think that my name is Chad. And I'm like,
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
You're a
Does
Chad.
it?
You're
Call
a Chad.
me
You look like a
Chad
Chad.
Sports. I look like a Chad?
Yeah, you're a Brad. One of the two.
That's just like saying you look like a Jerome.
Well, you can't say that, Mitchell.
Of course it is.
Nice. Well, we are back. We're doing our NFL Divisional Round Preview podcast. It's our top daily fantasy plays. I'm going to change it up a little bit since we have Mitchell this week. We're going to be each giving a bargain guy, a guy that we consider a must-use guy, and then we're going to do a mystery pick. We'll give you clues and see who can guess it first, similar to what we do on the podcast and the segment that we've done during the regular season. So if you are playing along at home, grab a beer, have a drink with us, try to guess these players as we're describing them. And as usual, when we have Mitchell on, we'll be diving into a little bit of his personal life, asking him questions to feel uncomfortable, and that's what I'm most looking forward to. But by request from DJ. DJ, you wanted to start with a must-use daily fantasy guy, didn't you?
Yeah, and I peeked at yours and I saw that we both had it. So this is my must-use this week. It's Phillip Rivers. This is per FanDuel. $7,300 at New England. I'm a little confused. I'm not sure what I'm missing, so maybe Mitch has some more hindsight or insight onto this, what I'm missing, not hindsight, but whatever. I don't understand how Foles and Dak Prescott ever can cost more than Phillip Rivers. I know his last 3 games have been no good, but look at the last 3 games. 2 of them have been against the best D4 Ravens. The other one was against the divisional rivalry in Denver on the road, where they kind of struggle, and they have probably one of the best pass rushes in the league. So that's another, caveat to that. Denver's got a good pass rush. But New England's biggest defensive weakness is against the pass. I'm going to guess that Melvin Gordon is going to be that one guy that Belichick keys on, is going to try to take away. And looking at New England's defensive stats, they don't get up to the passer. They're the second least amount of sacks in 2018. Second least. I know that the Chargers' offensive line is their biggest weakness, but the pass rush for New England is their biggest weakness as well. I think Rivers should have a field day.
Mitchell?
I mean, I don't know if I would say a field day. I mean, I think when you're looking at overall defenses, I think the Patriots at home are actually, they've been playing a little bit better down the end of the season. And the thing that I'm going to look at is it's the playoffs. And the one thing I'm always worried about with Philip Rivers is, has he ever really been able to play well in the playoffs? So I'm going to ask you, do you know how many times Philip Rivers has played Tom Brady?
742.
That's what I was going to guess.
Minus the 42 part, but the 7, you got it right on the nail. So 7 times, but he's 0-7 all time against Tom Brady. In fact, entering the playoffs, all the teams in the AFC, there was not a single quarterback that beat Tom Brady. And I know we're not talking real football, but at the end of the day, real football can sometimes translate to fantasy football, and I think that's why Philip Rivers is a little bit lower. I just think those other players have better matchups, but again, Philip Rivers doesn't get nearly enough credit as he deserves. He's a top, basically 12 quarterback every single year. He's top 8 this year, and he's got weapons, and the thing that I'm most excited about seeing is Hunter Henry. So
yeah.
He's actually going to play this week, unlike when Stephen A. Smith thought he was going to play 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, the Eagles play the Saints, though, and the Saints have been, over like the past, 5 weeks, the number 1 defense in the league.
Who?
The Saints. They have been an incredible defense over the end of the season.
According to what stats?
According to stats the last 5 weeks. Just go take a look.
All right, well, they gave up 30 to the Panthers, and I understand none of their starters played.
Yeah, give me a fucking break. Don't use that.
If you're going off stats, I guarantee that's in the stats.
Okay, go look up to week 16. Look to 11 to 16.
All right, I can do that.
All right. Well, as DJ, you ruined my part of the party as well, because my must-use was Philip Rivers. My quarterback options when I looked at the FanDuel lineup this week literally was Andrew Luck or Philip Rivers. And since Rivers was $1,100 cheaper and he averages just 3 points less per week than Luck, it became pretty obvious that every lineup that I toiled around with, like Rivers had to be my quarterback. His floor in this game, I believe, should be around 18 to 20. And I don't really see them getting too far ahead of New England in this game, and I don't see New England getting too far ahead of them. I think it's going to be a balanced game basically throughout, meaning that he's going to have to make plays with his arms. I understand, like, Mahomes, Breeze, Brady, Luck, Goff, they all have a legit shot of scoring more than Philip Rivers, but I don't think it's going to be that much more for what you're going to have to pay. Patrick Mahomes is $2,700 more than Philip Rivers. I said this last week. I think this is the Chargers' best shot in the actual playoffs since like 2007. I think we're going to get the best from Philip Rivers. I have to copy DJ or he has to copy me, one way or the other. My must-use has got to be Philip Rivers. I don't know if you want to add anything more to that or not, since you already talked about it with DJ. But
I want to say something quick. I hate it when you say his floor and then say 18 to 20, because if the floor is 18, the floor can't be 20. Just say his floor is 18 points.
I'll have to remember that.
Just say it.
Constructive criticism.
Housing regulations, a ceiling has to be 18.4 inches or feet.
So 18.4 is the ceiling as well.
And I'm just saying. My dad told me that nice little stat nugget. If you're going 2 floors, it's got to be 18.4.
Basically,
so his floor is 18 and his ceiling is 18.4.
Yes.
Bingo.
The ceiling is the roof.
Okay, perfect. We got that all settled.
Mitchell, why don't you go ahead and tell us your must-use?
My must-use player is not going to be a quarterback, even though I was actually leaning quarterback, but it wasn't the guy that you guys were thinking. My must-use is going to be a wide receiver at $8,400, and it's Michael Thomas. Ooh. When I look at the Eagles' secondary, it's banged up. I mean, I think when you look at the Eagles' defense in a whole, no doubt that their weakest part is in that secondary. And the last time Michael Thomas ended up playing the Eagles, 4 targets, 4 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. And I think he could have put up 200 yards in that game because the Saints ended up going to winning 48-7. So when I look at Michael Thomas, I think this has been one of the most incredible seasons I think we've seen in NFL history in terms of points. Heck, Patrick Mahomes put up 50 touchdowns. But I think the most incredible statistic of the entire season is the fact that Michael Thomas has 147 targets and 125 catches. That's a catch rate of 85%. Like, that is insane. There is an 85% chance that my body count is higher than Ben's and DJ's combined. There's an 85% chance that DJ's probably adopted. And there's only a 15% chance that I'd ever share a Busch Light with either of you. So when I'm talking about just pure metrics and numbers, like, I think Michael Thomas, 85% catch rate, is an absolute stud. And I think it's going to be a great game. Big Dick Nick has been playing well in the playoffs. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game.
That was the best, 14 seconds in the podcast history. I'm almost convinced.
It didn't even faze me. What about DeAndre Hopkins not dropping a pass the entire year? Is that not pretty incredible?
Ooh, that's a good stat, too. Which stat is better, that stat or the Michael Thomas catch stat?
I mean, considering catch rate, like historic stats, I'm going to go with Michael Thomas's. Because what is an actual drop, right? I think like that's something that's kind of like, eh. Like you're telling me he didn't drop a single ball all year.
I'm just going off the stats.
Okay, I'm going off the stats. There's
DJ,
an 85% chance that stat's made up.
That's not. Do you fucking pay attention to anything?
No, I actually don't even work in sports.
Okay, well that's fair then.
DJ, do you like the Michael Thomas player?
Oh, I love Michael Thomas. I'm a big fan of Michael Thomas. I have my fantasy team that Eagles, like he said, that Eagles secondary is fucking atrocious. Like everybody's injured, everybody's decimated. That's their weakness. And yeah, anybody against that secondary is a win. And the Saints have had 2 weeks to sit around and pick apart a defense like the Eagles. It's not going to be pretty. I think that game's going to be a blowout. But Big Dick Nick does have some magic, so I am a little bit worried saying that.
Mitchell, what would you respond to this? So I'm just looking at Michael Thomas's last couple of games. So he had 5 points. He had a breakout game against Pittsburgh with 22. But then he had 8, 15, which won't kill you, but then a 6 and another 6. If you're spending $8,500 on a guy like that and you get below 15 points, I'm considering that a failure. And it looks like he's done that in like half of his games over the last 6. Is that a little too risky?
Well, I think they also had some tougher matchups at the end of the stretch there. I mean, he didn't even really play. I mean, Drew Brees didn't even really play whatsoever in his last game against the Carolina Panthers. And the Cowboys, they had that one game where they were absolutely balled out, and I think the Cowboys are just a much different defense at home. And I think he also played another divisional game, which was just a strange game. Divisional games are really hard to predict sometimes, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at the Eagles' biggest weakness. It's no doubt that secondary, and I watched Michael Thomas in that Eagles game in Week 11, and he was an absolute monster, and they just don't have anybody that can cover him, and it's the playoffs at home in New Orleans. Give me Michael Thomas.
Right. Before we move on to our bargain plays, I'm going to paint a quick picture for the listener that aren't listening on YouTube. For those who are on YouTube, I'm going to show the audience, and then Mitchell, I'm going to let you explain yourself. I'm going to explain to the audience here. So Mitchell Renz went to, it looks like a Bears-Packers game. He proceeded to wear some like 70s sunglasses, a suit coat, khaki pants, and a scarf. Mind you, this was a regular season Bears-Packers game. Mitchell, I'm going to have explain yourself. Go ahead and explain yourself on this one.
Well, my outfit actually was with a wool coat, but unfortunately, the girl who I went with 2 girls who do some work for us here at Chat Sports, and one girl, she lost all her luggage, so she had to have a coat, and I didn't want to leave her go cold. So I had that, and yes, I wore a scarf. I was probably the only guy wearing a scarf in Chicago in 40-degree weather, but we did a giveaway for our contestants who signed up for our one sponsor, BetDSI, and as a return, 2 fans, we sent them to Chicago, the Packers game, and in return, I also got to go watch the game with them, so awesome experience. Never did a flight in, flight out kind of thing. But yes, I definitely got a lot of questions on my scarf. But I think the scarf is going to help me out down the road.
I thought for sure that you were going to say the winner won the scarf. And I was going to say, what a terrible giveaway.
No.
I've never wanted to beat the shit out of you so bad after I saw those pictures.
I wear scarves all the time.
Oh, you wore so much bad shit to a Bears-Packers game. It was awful.
I have my brown scarf, a black scarf, and a gray scarf, depending on what coat I wear.
You know how many listeners you're costing us right now?
What?
I said, do you know how many listeners you're costing us right now? Me and DJ pride ourselves on being unfiltered, beer drinking, just shooting from the hip, and here's you. I've got a black scarf, a blue scarf, a scarf that I wear on the holidays.
That was good.
What is this?
I like that.
It's a good white impression.
Yeah.
That's nice of you. I do a good white person, don't I?
You're a really good white person. Almost too good white person.
Love it. All right, let's go on to some bargain plays. DJ, you did so well kicking it off the first time, and you stole my guy. Let's see if you do it again this time.
So my bargain turns into a stack here. My bargain is Mike Williams, 6,600. If I'm going to roll with Rivers, I might as well grab one of his wide receivers at New England. Anyways, you mean like sexual harassment-wise or what?
You said it, not me. Keep going.
Okay. 6,600, I'm grabbing Mike Williams at New England. To me, this one's a dead giveaway again. Mike Williams has supplanted himself as the second target to me in this passing game. He's confident. He's got some swag now. I don't know. I said most of what I say. Doing this Patriots take away your biggest strength, right? What is the passing game's biggest strength for the Chargers? It's Keenan Allen. They're going to try to take him away. I think the confidence that Rivers now has in Williams has skyrocketed. And we all know Philip Rivers. He'll just throw the fucking ball in the air every now and then. So now that he has that trust in that guy, he's a big body, fast, huge guy. He's just going to toss the ball in the air every once in a while and give Mike Williams a chance, I think. I'm just going off a gut here, but I just like the matchup with the fact that the Patriots always take away that top guy, especially a guy like Keenan Allen. Always those top wide receivers, specifically Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas. They always work on taking those guys away. I like Mike Williams coming into the season. I'm going to ride him to the end of the season. Give me away Mike Williams, 6,600.
Oh, you're going to ride and grab Mike Williams for 6,600.
I'm going to do so many things to Mike Williams.
Oh, my Lord. I guess the only thing I'd be a little bit worried about with Mike Williams is how the Chargers are going to use Hunter Henry. It's the first time that we'll see this. And
sparingly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm talking a lot of times I'll see Mike Williams. Sure, he's got that one big play once in a while, but also I think he's been used in the red zone a lot. And I think if we are going to see a Hunter Henry, it's going to be in the red zone. But if there's a wide receiver that I would pick as a bargain play, it would probably be Mike Williams out of the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to end up saying the same thing about my bargain play, and I used Mike Williams as my bargain last week. And what I love about Williams is, God, if you use him and he fails, you just struck out. It is what it is. That happens sometimes. If you use him and he hits, that freaking guy has like boom potential, man. He had 14 2 weeks ago, 5 weeks, 33 points. A few weeks before that, he had 17. Seems like when he scores twice. Like he just kind of is that receiver that just come out of nowhere. I failed a little bit on him last week. He only got 7 points, but he's been better in the pros than I gave him credit for. I thought he'd struggle a little bit with just kind of like a limited route runner. It didn't really seem like he could get off the line, but I don't know. Playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback kind of can mask a lot of that, and that's what he's doing. And he's taking advantage of it. What did you bring our Lord and Savior into this for?
Don't take away the skill set that Mike Williams has by saying that Philip Rivers has masked that. Get that shit out of here.
He has a skill set, but it's not the things that I mentioned. His skill set is, yes, his speed, his able to high point a ball, his able to body a receiver. He has good skill sets. He's just not a complete receiver. I don't think I'm wrong by saying that.
I completely disagree, but okay.
That's why we talk about it. Like, what fun would it be if we agreed?
You're a douche.
All right. Thanks. Mitchell, who is your bargain boy?
My bargain play is going to be a running back, and I'm going to try to cheat a little bit here. So it's at $6,500. I'm going to go with Spencer Ware. And personally, I think Spencer Ware is going to end up playing in this game. He was a limited participant in practice on Tuesday, and the fact that he was able to practice already, I think is a good sign in that regard. And then when he plays, I mean, he got 2 starts this year, and he was, pretty productive. I mean, he saw 15 and 20 touches, and against the Baltimore Ravens, who are ranked number 1 against running backs, he had 75 rushing yards, 54 receiving yards, and personally, this is just going to be a fade for me. Everybody and their brother, including DJ, is going to play Zeke and Gurley. Like, I just think those are the 2 running backs that you're going to see played the most. So I'm going to try to fade those guys, and I'm going to go with Spencer Ware. When Spencer Ware, if he's healthy against the Colts, this game's got, high over-under. The over-under, according to BetDSI, and this one is 57 points. So I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. And if Ware is unable to go, then I'll just slot in Damian Williams at 6,100, who's a cheaper option. And at the end of the day, Chiefs high-scoring offense and against the Colts, who I think they're going to try to keep Andrew Luck off the field. At least I would personally. And I think you're going to look at a running back who could potentially get 15 touches in what I think could be the high-scoring game of the week.
I'm going to guarantee the Colts win that game.
Ooh, early guarantee.
I would love it. I would love it if they did.
Just doing it right now. Lock it in. Hey, what are the chances that Kareem Hunt makes a return as a kicker? No chance? Field goal kicker? Anybody?
No. He'll be back in the NFL, but not as a kicker.
He has got a good kicking game. That's all I'm saying.
He's better than Cody Parkey. I give him that.
Is it bad that I didn't even get that joke at first?
It took a little. I'll own up to it too. It took me a little while for it to sit in.
I'm really pissed right now. I'm a little bit
disappointed
flushed right now. I'm mad at you guys.
Disappointed in us.
My black face is turning red.
Dude, is that a thing?
I now play for Washington.
So I always thought Kareem Hunt was pretty good. The thing is, I thought Spencer Ware would step in and produce like very similar to Kareem Hunt numbers, and it just hasn't happened. Like you said, he's gotten between like 10 to 15 some weeks, but he hasn't had that like 25 to 30 point week that Kareem Hunt was getting. I thought he'd be a little bit closer to that. And I just thought in this offense, whoever you put at running back is going to end up dominating. It just hasn't happened yet. Does that worry you a little bit? Like I just thought he'd be a little bit closer to Kareem Hunt's production.
I mean, the first week he came back, he had 47 rushing yards and a touchdown. Sure, I think he only averaged like 3.7 yards per carry. But then again, if you're going to be able to get 75 rushing yards and 54 receiving yards and 5 catches against the Baltimore Ravens, I think that's pretty good. And unfortunately, he got hurt. He got banged up that hamstring a little bit, but he's had 3 weeks to recover. And I think when I'm looking at Spencer Ware, I don't think it's unfair to say that I think he's going to get 15 touches. So I'm just going to go off based on 15 touches, which I think could be 100 yards.
Fair enough. All right, so my bargain pick here, and guys, just hang with me on this one because this is out there. It's a little bit out there. But my bargain play is Rex Burkhead, $5,500 versus the Chargers, and here's why Burkhead's my pick. I went through a couple different lineup scenarios. The way that my lineups played out, in order for me to get the studs that I wanted, I needed to find a crazy bargain at running back, and that's what Burkhead is at $5,500. And I believe he really provides that opportunity for some bargain big points. But he also doesn't have a safe floor whatsoever. But let me tell you why. I think that this bargain play has potential to boom. All right, DJ, I almost had a stroke there. Sorry.
You almost died.
I almost died. All right, overall, who's the best running back on that team? I think we would all agree that it's Sony Michel. Who's the second most talented running back on that team? I think we'd all agree it's probably James White. That leaves my guy, the guy that's going to be used less. That's going to be Burkhead. But when it comes to the Patriots,
Nebraska.
When it comes to the FanDuel, I like the pass-catching option, and that's going to leave you James White, Rex Burkhead. And White is the most expensive of those three. He's $1,900 more than Burkhead. And since Burkhead returned in December, he's got 14 targets compared to White's 29. So White's basically doubling him in targets. So if you can afford White, by all means, go ahead. But if you want the bargain play that could boom, I like the least expensive of these three because I could see Belichick leaning on the experience here, and that's what makes White and Burkhead like the primary options over Michel. And for nearly $2,000 less than White, I'm going to take the chance of Burkhead piling up those catches, piling up those receiving yards. Hopefully he catches a touchdown. And in when I'm using a cheap option like that, in the same lineup, I can have a lineup with Zeke Elliott, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. If you have a guy like Burkhead that can produce and get you a boom week at that price, that's a freaking stacked lineup.
I guess I worry because James White has been their playoff monster.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Big time.
And so, I don't know. It's a hard sell for me, especially when you go in, you're like, he's got 14 catches and White's got 29.
I know. What are you trying to
do? What I'm saying, because when you compare him to Michel as well, I mean, like those are the guys that are catching the rock. Like, yeah, he's got half of what target-wise.
Those are the guys that are catching the rock, but I'm telling you to play this guy. Gotcha.
Those are the two guys I think it's going to be. I'm saying, though, what it is, that's why he's a bargain, because he is getting the targets, he is getting the receptions, and, dude, it's one game. It's literally one game. You have to take a chance, and if there's a guy I'm taking a chance on in the playoffs, it's the experienced guy. It's Burkhead.
But is he the experienced guy compared to James White is my question.
No, but the way the Patriots...
Sure, he's more experienced than Sony Michel,
right.
But heck, you and I have as many playoff games as Sony Michel does, so...
That's true.
Facts.
Unless you count college playoff games. Suck it.
I do not.
Do you guys want to say anything else on that?
Drunk.
I'm drunk.
No, I hated it.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. Well, I hope I get into a league with both of you just by accident, and you guys don't use them. I use them. I win. Give me your money. DJ, do you have any other... do you got any questions you'd like to pepper Mitchell with before we move on to our mystery pick?
No, we can save that.
Oh, well, then I'll ask him.
Okay, go for it.
All right, Mitchell, later tonight you said that you were going to be going on a date. Sounds like some drinks with a new lady friend are in your plans. My question for you is, how come you never have second dates? Every time that you tell us that you're going on a date, it's a first date with a new girl. What's going on here?
So I have second dates. I have third dates. Rarely does it take me a fourth date. So, and then we just, you go to a spa, get some drinks, have a good time, and then I'm busy. I work a lot. I'm not looking for anything long term unless it's right. So we'll see. But I'm hoping this one's a 3-dater.
My favorite thing about this was we asked him to podcast and he said he couldn't do it originally. And then he's like, well, I could do it between 7 and 9. I guess, motherfucker, do you realize we're 31 years old? Like, we don't stay up past 9 o'clock. You thought we were going to want a podcast at 10? What do you think? We're 100 years old.
To be honest, I don't know. Like, I just don't sleep a lot anymore. I mean, I get up at 4 to go to the gym, and then I go to the gym when I get home at like 9:30. And I don't know, if I can get 4 hours of sleep, for the most part, I'm pretty good.
It's because you're busy
a
having
9:30
first
date
dates.
is not even a date. It's a booty call at this point.
Right.
It's not a booty call. It is drinks first.
And then a booty call.
If that's what she wants, that's fine with me.
It's just the warm-up to the booty call. Let me get you a little bit drunk, and then let's do it.
My favorite thing about what you said is that I go on second dates, I go on third dates, and it doesn't take me anymore. I once had a person tell me that if you have to go on a second date, you're doing it wrong. That person is now in jail, by the way. So tread lightly,
They're
Mitchell. In jail.
Oh, shit.
For exactly what you would think that they're in for. So I'm just telling you. I'm just giving you a warning.
I'm very safe. I'm very cautious, and I think it's always good to at least get proof that they're interested in you over text. So
Is that like a pic? Like a below the waist pic? Is that the proof?
I mean, just in case. Some people are
Do you
vindictive.
Do you get a doctor's note?
Definitely get a doctor's
I went to the
note.
doctor's last week to get some moles removed, but no.
Okay, just wondering. Next.
Um,
I'm clean. I promise. I got tested.
Well, I got one more thing before we go on to our mystery pick, Mitchell. I'm just curious. You're gonna have to follow my metaphor here closely so that you understand and that you answer correctly. But do you take the car around the block before you go on these road trips?
What is that? I guess maybe I don't understand what that means.
I don't get it either.
Let me see if I can figure this one out a different way. Do you rub one out before you go on these dates?
No. I don't need to do that. I'm okay.
Because he gets drunk before it. He gets drunk, and then he doesn't need. He gets himself a little bit of a whiskey dick. And
That's
then
how
he's
you
good
do
to
it. That's the secret. That's the secret.
You guys got me.
All right, let's.
How big is your penis in terms of inches?
Soft or hard?
No, definitely hard. Also, measure from the base always.
All right, I'll send you guys a pic after the show.
What else are you measuring
I don't know
from?
if I can measure it
What?
I don't know if I can measure it that way.
Oh, let's just
Put
say
a ruler up next to it.
let's just say $1 is about 6 inches.
Give me a yardstick and then put a yardstick up next to the picture, and then I'll make a judgment call.
I can't use a ruler. I have to use a yardstick.
Yeah, because the yardstick is always erect.
Noted. All right.
A ruler.
I don't even. Can you even buy a yardstick in today's age?
That's a good question. Can you buy a yardstick today?
I use a yardstick every March Madness to make the bracket on a big piece of paper.
That's true, but it's old. Like you're not getting a new yardstick every year.
That's what I
No,
mean.
I don't buy a new yardstick every year. That's true.
DJ, go with your mystery. I got a good joke about that. We'll come back to.
All right. Are you guys ready? Well, Ben, I feel like you're not going to listen to it.
I'm here.
Because you're looking at your phone.
No, I'm good.
I mean, you're mentally stupid, and I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to start saying this. You're already not listening to me.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
All right. So here's my mystery guy. I'm not going to give you the amount. I'm not giving any amounts. All right. So we're going to start with my first clue.
Oh, wait. So let's make this a competition. Whichever me or Mitchell gets it first, we'll get to go next. We're the winners for whatever it's worth. So it's a competition. We'll see who can get it first.
Okay.
All right.
Neither one of you are going to get after this first one, but maybe you will. I was 8th in the league in red zone touches with 43.
Oh, Jesus.
Anybody?
If you know this.
All right. I had 5 games with at least 15 points in full point PPR and 6 rushing touchdowns, and still finished as low as I still finished as RB35.
Oh, Jesus. I have nothing yet.
No, nothing.
Oh, I've got a guess, but it's
I almost
not
said
very
Kareem Hunt,
educated.
but I don't think he's playing this week.
Nope.
Can I give my guess? I want to give my guess. I'm going to go after 2. Is it Marlon Mack?
No.
Oh, Mitchell, you're going to win by default
guess.
now.
Okay. Third clue. I'm a workhorse back, but used rarely in the pass game, as I've had only 7 receptions for 50 yards all year.
My Lord.
Ugh.
Actually, is it? Actually, give me. Wait, no, it's obviously not that. Never mind.
The last clue I give you is going to give it away, so.
Well, good. Well, Mitch gets the first go. I'll give Mitch 5 seconds after the last clue, and then I get to jump in.
That's fine.
All right. I'm disappointed you guys didn't get it after that one. My college counterpart also plays in the NFL, and his last name reminds me of Mitchell Renz.
Sony Michel.
There you go.
Oh. So that's why you don't.
Finally.
That's why you don't like my my Rex Burkhead pick, because you're all about Sony Michel.
I don't know if I like it. I just want to discuss it. I mean, he's going to have a weird year, right? He had, like I said, 5 games with 15 points when he's out there. Gets a ton of red zone touches. And I feel like they're going to go into this game. Brady hasn't been great, spectacular this year. I think he struggled, obviously. And I think they want to slow it down going into this game. So I think they're going to work Michel the same way they did against the Bills. And I actually kind of like him going into this game, going into the Chargers. And the Chargers are 9th across the board in, like, against the pass. Against 9th across the board. That's what they are. So I don't see them passing the ball a ton. And I think they want to keep Rivers in the offense off the field, because I think, obviously, they know the secondary is the weakness. So I think Sony Michel is going to see a lot of carries.
Hey guys, it's not much of a joke. It's more of a sentence. Did you guys know
Jesus Christ.
Did you guys know that they aren't going to make yardsticks any longer?
No.
That actually fit perfect. I wish I could have come up with that without having to text somebody. Damn it. All right, Mitchell, you like Sony Michel this week?
What's up?
Do you like Sony Michel this week? More than Burkhead? Which one would you be more likely to play, Burkhead or Michel?
James White.
Sony Michel's only 6,600, by the way.
Yeah, he's second
I'll play
most.
James White.
James White over all of them.
Just he is black, though.
Who?
Does that change your decision?
James White?
James White.
Actually, I never knew that. So.
Oh, so I thought maybe that would change.
Actually, it's totally going to change my decision. Now I definitely.
All right, so we got to vote for Sony Michel now. All right. So Mitchell, you won that one. You've got a point. Let's do yours. We'll have DJ and I square off to try to guess yours now.
Sounds good. So entering this season, I was a tier 1 player at my position.
Whew.
At least according to my rankings, and basically every single other person in fantasy football.
Okay.
In his last 3 games versus the team that he's playing, he has 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Man, are you looking at things right now, you asshole?
I'm looking at a list of the players. Come on, that ain't cheating.
That is kind of cheating.
Nothing?
Nope.
All right, go ahead with the next one.
This season, I had only 2 games with over 100 receiving yards. One came in week 1.
Oh, my guess was right. I did cheat.
You fucking cheater.
Since I cheated, I'll give you a couple seconds here, DJ. Otherwise, I want to blurt it out.
I'll give you my last hint.
All right, go ahead.
If he could, he'd probably wear the number 69.
Oh, I was wrong.
Loser.
Damn it. Damn it. Everything you said fit the bill here for my pick. I like that
one.
Yeah, that is good. So obviously we know who it is. DJ, I'll give you the point since I cheated and I got it wrong. I should go down a point. So Mitch has a point, DJ has a point, and I'm -1. This is not going well. Why do you like Rob Gronkowski?
Because he's $6,200. I mean, you're looking at Zach Ertz. You're looking at other tight ends who are literally $1,300 more, and I get it. They have been so much better than Gronk this year. I mean, he's only got 3 touchdowns, but Gronk just hasn't been healthy. And I thought he kind of looked a little bit healthy in that Jets game, and then they just blew him out 38-3, and he's had 2 weeks to rest up against the Chargers defense, who they are ranked, like DJ said, 9th across the board and everything. And if I'm going to go big or go home, which I'm going to do, because I feel like a bunch of people are going to play Travis Kelce, a bunch of people are going to go Zach Ertz. You can't tell me right now if Gronk has one of those weeks where he can easily have a Gronk week, it could win you your week. And at saving me $1,300 against Zach Ertz or Travis Kelce, I'm just going to go with it.
Do you ever worry that Gronk's whole body is broken?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It looks broken as fuck.
He just looks hurt, but still, like, he's still an absolute monster, and I'm hoping Gronk can come out. It's the playoffs, and then, I don't know. I thought he looked a lot healthier, though, against the Jets than what he's had the entire year, but I think this is Gronk's last year.
Yeah, I do, too. He's the closest thing that we have to, like, a four-legged animal that somehow walks on two legs. Like, that is exactly what Gronk is.
He's like a robot that's breaking down.
Mitchell, I'm glad that you brought up Rob Gronkowski, because the two lineups right now that I'm kind of flirting between on FanDuel, I never thought I would do this. And DJ, you're probably going to block me on Twitter, on text, on everything for hearing this. I'm rolling with two tight ends. I've got a tight end, obviously, in the tight end spot, and then I got a tight end in my flex spot. And I'll tell you this lineup when we're done, because I don't want to give away my mystery pick right away without doing the guesses. But what do you think about running with two tight ends this week? Let me tell you who my other two tight ends.
I don't really ever like to do it this week, unless it's Zach Ertz and Travis Kelce. But I don't know.
I'll never win with two tight ends.
I'll tell you that my two tight ends in this league that I have Gronk it's Gronk and Ebron. I'll go through the whole lineup a little bit later and let you judge it then. But
I mean, the Chiefs are what? I think out of all the defenses in the playoffs, they are the worst against tight ends. Yep. So
they are the worst against everything.
Yeah, they literally are.
You know what? I think I figured out why Nick Foles is so good in the playoffs. He's got the magic stick. How has nobody put that together?
I'm not sure.
Big Dick Nick has magic. He's got the magic stick.
I'm glad that you finally pointed that out to the world.
I need to make like a highlight video with that song going.
Definitely.
And Nick Foles behind it. That's my next project.
Throughout the year, DJ has given himself projects that he's never completed any of them.
I'll see you in 2020.
I got the magic stick. I got to sing it. I have to sing at least once every podcast.
That is true. This is episode 180, by the way. Mitchell, can you believe we made it this long?
Wow. I would love to know whatever the first episode I was on. I mean, that's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Longer than that, 2.5 years ago.
If you're watching on YouTube, Mitchell has like facial hair and everything now. When we first had him on, he just sprouted like a whisker. That's how old he is.
He just was going through puberty at that point.
I'm still going through it.
I was literally recording that on the couch in my attic at my parents' home.
At one point, you had Andrew _ you were in his closet or some shit, weren't you?
Andrew came over to my place in Boston, and I had to record in the closet, and he was out in the like loft area, and just so we wouldn't be able to hear each other. So yes,
yeah, that was amazing.
Have you seen episode. Andrew _ lately? It looks like he's on the same drugs that Dexter Lawrence is on.
He works out, man. He gets after it.
I work out too, and I don't look like Andrew _
You don't work out like he does, though. He's
because I'm not on diaphragm or whatever the fuck that's called.
You guys don't work out like me at all.
That's true. DJ does 2 sit-ups a day when he leads up to get up from bed when he gets off the shooter.
Well, I start basketball on Thursday, right? Because I'm finally going to start running again for the first time in a year.
Oh,
I would both of you in basketball.
No, I'll work you, bro.
No, please.
Yeah.
All right. Let me give my mystery pick, and we'll bullshit a little later. All right, you guys ready for this? This is going to decide the winner because I'm -1 and I can't go up from there, and you guys are both at 1. That's math. Ready? Give me a confirmation. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, clue number 1. I am looking at the wrong thing.
It's a wide receiver.
Gosh damn it, DJ, I was looking at yours. All right, clue number 1. I'll give you that hint. It is a wide receiver. Clue number 2, then. I've scored double digits the last 3 weeks, despite just one double-digit performance before that latest streak. Clue number 2. I guess technically clue number 3. Over these last 3 games, I've caught 13 of my 15 targets, including a touchdown in each of those games.
I got to guess.
Oh, DJ's going to put the championship on the line. DJ, who is your guess?
I don't think this is right, but I'm going to go for it.
What a theory.
Oh, shit, it's wrong. Amari Cooper, that's wrong.
Yep, it's wrong.
Yep.
So now you have to abide by the rule that you got to give Mitchell 5 seconds after the next clue before you can jump in.
That's fine.
All right, because it is not Amari Cooper. All
I knew
right.
it was wrong once I thought about the touchdowns again.
Yep, should have held that one to yourself. All right, clue number 4. I'm the 11th most expensive wide receiver this week, and I'm playing on the road in what should be a high-scoring game. DJ, you're free to
DJ.
guess.
I don't know. I can't think.
Is it
I don't think it's
Alshon Jeffrey?
Nope, but now that you've guessed wrong, you go down a point.
Yeah.
Way
I
to go.
had 2 guesses.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
high scoring game, road. I can't even.
Hot streak recently.
I think I know who it is.
I have one more guess if you guys want it, or one more clue.
Yeah,
All
I don't
right.
even know who's playing this week.
Just been ripping this whole thing. Okay, here, this one hopefully gives it away. I'm one of the few wide receivers that have made the jump from the CFL to the NFL.
Is it Dontrell Inman?
Bingo! Mitchell is the mystery pick winner, basically by default.
Goddamn Colts.
But see, honestly, the 11th price thing threw me off more because
Yeah, that was fucked up.
I've played Dontrell Inman the last 3 weeks on FanDuel because he's
Yep.
just been
Dirt
riding
cheap.
that hot streak, and Luck's
Yep.
been relying on him, especially in the red zone. And I think it's funny because I tweeted out last week because my friend and I were watching it, and he's like, "Who the heck just scored that touchdown?" I was like, "Dontrell Inman."
Yep.
Wow,
It's amazing.
The 11th price thing totally threw me off. That one threw me off.
Right. Well, the thing is, like, I was kind of surprised to see him there as well, but then you just think, like, well, there's so many fewer games, so it kind of just makes sense now. But my theory on Inman is kind of the same with all of these kind of bargain guys. He's got that potential to score a touchdown, get 100 yards, and he's going to warrant that price plus more. And the thing is, playing against the Chiefs, that is the one thing that might hold the Chiefs back from actually competing for a Super Bowl this year is that defense. And man, you try to find a quarterback hotter than Andrew Luck right now. I'd love to use T.Y. Hilton. Like, don't get me wrong, he's your stud there. I don't love Eric Ebron, but 13 total touchdowns, whatever he had, it's hard to pass up on that. But man, he's going to spread it around. And Dontrell Inman has been the guy the last 3 weeks. He has been the guy. I love him this week.
I'm not going to sit here and disagree. I just think
Thanks.
if that game would have been a little bit different last week, I think T.Y. Hilton was on pace to just,
I
again,
agree.
absolutely just torch the Texans.
Yep.
I mean, that first drive, he had 63
Yeah,
receiving yards.
dominating right away.
Right.
So it was a weird game, though, last week.
I'll tell you that lineup now that I have it with the 2 tight ends. So I've got Rivers.
Don't like it.
All right, moving on to DJ. Rivers, Kamara, Burkhead.
Don't like it either.
All right, that's the Loaded Box podcast. Everyone, make sure you tune in next week.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about your lineup.
All right, fine. We won't talk about it then. It's going to be a mystery.
Good.
Tweet it at me.
I'm not tweeting it. These are my opponents, Mitchell. You gotta listen to the podcast to earn this kind of knowledge.
Gotcha.
DJ, do you have any other questions? Anything to pepper Mitchell with before we let him go?
I don't. I mean, he doesn't do anything that good that I'm interested in. There's not really good content in his life, so it's just kind of boring. The only thing I want to talk about is stupid clothes that he wore to a stupid game. And we already talked about it. So, what do you think?
What if I told you that I am the latest Match.com ad on social media and potentially on commercials on TV?
Are you going to go on The Bachelor, or what's your deal?
Is that a real question?
Yeah.
Bachelor, no. Bachelorette is a possibility.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean.
Well,
I'm
no,
watching
you said Bachelor.
Yeah,
They're
fuck right
different.
off.
I don't know. I will say that I had somebody call me, and I don't know if it'll be The Bachelorette, but I may be on an MTV show down the road.
Okay, if you're on The Bachelorette or any shows, I am calling dibs on having you on the podcast first after you're off of that show.
We'll see.
No.
Oh, that's cold, Mitchell. That's cold.
Weren't we one of the first podcasts to have you on? You're going to do us like that? I call dibs.
You're the very first podcast to invite me on.
Specifically, if you're on The Bachelorette. If we don't get you first after being on The Bachelorette, I will murder you.
Did you know that? Did you know that
All
DJ plays?
I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal. If I go on The Bachelorette, I would find out relatively soon, I would imagine. And if I am on The Bachelorette, I'll come on here.
Afterwards, too.
Well, yeah, afterwards.
Okay.
I can't come on before.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you invite DJ on the show so he can have his run at the leftovers?
Wait, say that again?
Can you have DJ on the actual show so he can have his run at the leftovers?
I don't know if anybody wants that.
Because if you're on The Bachelorette, it's one girl.
That's what I mean.
I'm not mistaken.
So I'm going to have all the guys.
Well, okay, well, before we wrap this up, so DJ expressed to me yesterday, and this kind of like depressed me a little bit, actually. It made me sad that I join him twice a week for a podcast. He's doing Fantasy Bachelor. I don't even know how that works. I'm assuming that you like draft people that you think are going to do well.
No, it's like DFS.
Oh my God, that makes it worse. That it's going to be weekly.
Yeah, I set up a new weekly lineup every week.
But like, I mean, what is that? I mean, that's the equivalent. Like, that's the TV equivalent of wearing a scarf.
But I get to pick 10 girls every week.
He gets to pick 10 scarves.
I'm just saying, don't be jealous, bro. You should jump on this Bachelor train.
Don't hate on the scarves. Chicks dig scarves. So.
I mean, I hate scarves. If I could, I would just cut up every scarf in the world.
Well,
I would use it as toilet paper.
It's gotten me multiple dates, and it's gotten...
You think the scarf's gotten you multiple dates?
What if I told you in that picture that you guys showed I got a date with that girl? So.
Yeah, I think you got dates despite the scarf.
Mitchell is a walking 30 for 30 advertisement. What if I told you that the scarf was the key to my relationship success?
He said that like 5 times. Are you the guy?
I'm telling you.
What if I told you?
What would be Mitchell? What would if let's say that how many people are on the Bachelorette? Like, so if there's one girl, how many dudes are there? 30. So you're 1 out of 30. What would be? Would you be willing to tell us one of your strategies if you got on there as to like how you would separate yourself? Because 1 out of 30 is not great chance, but you wear a scarf, so you got a little bit of a advantage over a lot of people. But what other strategy would you use if you don't mind giving us one strategy?
So the only reason why I would ever get on the show is because they saw my Match.com ads and they saw that I'm looking for love and that I'm a Jim looking for my Pam. So I'm going to play that one.
Okay, here's a question. I'm just like, because you didn't really answer the question, but
zero.
Like,
He doesn't want to.
How would you separate yourself? Would you do some kind of gimmick, or would you go in there and like try to be like heart to heart, calming?
I would try to be like every chick's dream guy. That's probably what I'd go with.
Would you be normal?
I would try to act normal. Yeah.
You think you'll fight anybody?
No.
Don't you sort of want to play like the badass
drama.
card? Like that'd be like one way to separate yourself. Like you play like the bad boy card. Like I don't really need you.
Oh.
I'm going to be on TV. I got plenty of other girls that are going to be like wanting to wear my scarf.
I've already been told that I wouldn't be allowed to do that.
Do what?
To act like the bad guy.
Oh, because work makes you do that?
No, because they would want me to be on the show to be this nice guy who can't find love.
Oh, so now we know a little bit. I know how it works a little bit.
That's when you play the
I
bipolar
would be
card.
the bad guy. Chicks love the asshole.
Well, I love asshole too. But...
That's how I've always been. I'm the asshole, and your mom loves me, so we're good.
Yeah, does she? That's
Yeah.
good.
Mitchell, do you have any questions for us? I feel bad. We always pepper you. Your face gets red.
Do I have any questions for you? No, you're both 2 middle-aged men who are married, so that's...
I am not middle-aged.
DJ, I'd beg to differ. Like one of us is going to die early. I technically died today. I saw my name in the lacrosse obituary.
Honestly, if you could be this cool at 25 or whatever the fucking age is, you would aspire to be this cool. You just can't.
How about this? How about I have an actual question you guys have to answer honestly. I want to know both of your body counts.
2.
him times 5.
How many is that, DJ?
That's 10, I think. Math.
Oh yeah, there's an 85% chance that I have way more than both of you combined.
That's why you went to the doctor. You didn't go to the.
That matters in my life.
You didn't go to the doctor to get your moles removed. You went to go get something else taken a look at.
I actually have proof that I got moles removed. So.
Did they let you keep the mole?
No, they just take it off your skin, and I have a hole in my stomach. So
I'm convinced you're a serial killer, and that's your actual body count.
I did just start watching Dexter. So.
Oh yeah. That's my
Jeez,
favorite
DJ,
show.
you just blew out everybody's ears.
That's a great
I
show.
don't know if you guys know this. The Kool-Aid Man just came out of the wall.
Mitchell,
Oh, Lord.
Mitchell, have you watched Frozen Bird or Bird Box yet?
No, I have friends.
Yeah, you should go ahead and watch Bird Box, honestly. I mean, when you comment like that, I know you don't do shit. And you tell us that you only work and then hang out with girls at 10 o'clock at night, so
I have a feeling.
Have you guys seen Big Mouth?
never heard of it.
What's Big Mouth?
Watch Big
Oh, that's that cartoon.
Super dirty.
I got to see
Super-
that. We do have to see
it's
that, DJ.
Hilarious.
I've heard that that's excellent.
Super up your alley.
Yep, I've heard it's right up our alley from Mitchell right now.
You gotta watch Bird Box, we'll watch Big Mouth.
All right, I can do that.
Next time we're on, we'll each give reviews. We'll do a little bit of we'll review Big Mouth and you'll review Frozen Bird, and then we'll go from there.
Bird
Sounds
Box
good.
stinks, but you're gonna love it.
All right, anything else,
All right.
or can we wrap this up?
Let's wrap this puppy up.
All
Very
right.
smart.
Well, once again, thank you for listening. As always, follow us on Twitter at Loaded Box. Go to our website, loadedboxpodcast.com. All of our podcasts, all of our blogs, everything that you ever need in your life will be there. We'll be back later this week with our second preview podcast for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We're available on iTunes. Subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Mitchell Renz, thank you once again. We've been overdue. Sometimes it's just a little bit tough in season with schedules and everything, but I never want to go this long again in my life without you, if you can be okay with that.
That sounds good. Now that the season's almost over, I should have Saturdays and Sundays off here in a little bit. But hope you guys had a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate, DJ. And then, if you guys ever want me on, just hit me up. And if anybody who's listening and likes what you heard, just follow me on Twitter and Instagram, basically everywhere, at Mitchell Renz 365.
I love it. Mitchell, good luck tonight. I can't wait to hear how everything goes, and I'm sure you'll have another first date in a couple hours.
Thanks. I'm sure Denise hopes it goes well, too.
Heyo. That's my mom's name. Send us out.
Cheers. Bye.